Hello and welcome to the British Flyball Association Flyball Foundation series of training videos. In the next session, what we're going to look at is sequence jump training. We're going to look at how you can train your dog to go over the jump without over-reliance on netting or wings, which doesn't necessarily help the dog think about where it's actually going and making a positive choice. So we're going to demonstrate some techniques that hopefully teach you how to get a dog to make the positive decision to go over a jump. To help us through that, we've got Balthazar, Melissa and Jeanette. So Jeanette, if you'd like to introduce sequence jump training for us, please.
Okay, so how we're going to start today is obviously at the moment, as many of you are going to be looking to be doing your training from home. So with that means that you have limitations in terms of the numbers of people or anybody being available to hold your dog as you normally would if you were doing your training in a club environment. So what we're going to do, because you're not going to have, some of you might not have people available to help you do your training, in this case we're just going to ask Balthazar to just do a stand wait so that you can then put yourself in the right position to be able to encourage him over the jumps. So if we can go with our first run then, Balthazar. So as you can see, Balthazar ran out of the jump, but that's not a problem though. It would be tempting at this point to put in a jump wing, also netting to be able to prevent him from doing that. But what that's doing is that's just forcing him to make the behaviour. It's not actually encouraging him to make the active decision to seek the jump and take the jump. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just simply ask for a rerun. Now we're looking for him to be able to, so if he comes in a little bit closer, so perfect, so he's a good distance. And Melissa's come right into the jump, and she's almost going to imagine that she's tied an invisible rope around his neck, and she's going to pull him through that jump. So Melissa, if you can just kind of reach through with your tug, that's it. Good boy. Good. So he took the jump and made the active decision to do that, and then he gets his reward, which in this case is a nice game of tug. So we're just going to do that again a couple more times. Good boy. Okay. So once we've done that, we're just going to move the jump around a little bit. We're still going to line him up central, but we're just going to make it a little bit harder for him so that again he has to make an active decision. So we're just going to, Melissa's just going to go over that jump. That's it. Good boy. Good. And we'll just move it to the other side as well. This is a technique that some people use quite commonly, and it is just called seek the jump. So he's quite far back from the jump. Yes. Good. And Melissa is keeping herself quite central. On this next one, Melissa, if you can come down the side of the jump with your tuggy in the middle. So we're just showing you how we would be progressing that. We don't want to rely on handlers going over the jump for too long. We only use it initially to encourage the dog to. Yes. Good boy. To come over the centre. Good. I think we're ready to add in a second jump. Okay, so we put a second jump in place. And again, working on the assumption that you don't have anybody at home to help you hold your dog, we have in this case asked Balthazar to do a wait, and Melissa then come down the right hand side of the jumps with her tug hanging down through the jumps, which again is going to encourage him to think about where he's going and actively seek those jumps out. So we just put 3 jumps in for Balthazar. So again, working on the assumption that you are on your own at home, we're just going to ask Balthazar to do a stand wait. Whilst Mel takes herself into position. Wait. And off we go. Okay. Yes. Good. So it is helpful if you do have somebody that can hold your dog, but again, if you don't, then there are certainly ways around it. So we'll just do one more like that before we then consider whether we're ready to add in a 4th jump. Okay. Good boy. Good boy, Balthazar. So now we're going to add in a 4th jump. So we've just moved on to 4 jumps, and we're going to hopefully see Balthazar executing all 4 jumps in order. So let's see how he does. Okay. Oh, okay. So he has missed out the 4th jump. So in this instance, what we're going to do is just take the 4th jump away. We're going to send him back over 3 jumps again, which is where he was last successful. And before we move forward to adding in a 4th jump, we're just going to make sure that he's really solid on taking 3 jumps. Lovely. Okay. Now we would normally do that several times, but for demonstration purposes, we are just going to go on now to add in the 4th jump. Yeah, so he does all 4 jumps. In order. Lovely. Thank you, Balthazar and Mel.
Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you, Balthazar. Thank you, Mel. And hopefully that's given you some ideas of how to make that jump sequencing work without the use of netting, to make the dog make the decision himself rather than being forced into making that decision by the wings and the netting. And that will reinforce the dog's behaviour and set you up for success and not running out of competition. Thanks very much, guys.